touchdown.
The route, and Randy Moss, without even really being able to run, as he shoots the moon to the
pass, pumps to the left, 8 seconds left. He gets away from the pressure, fires to the end zone. It's caught! It's Greg Lewis! Oh my heavens! Greg Lewis's first catch has given the Minnesota.
Four, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another House Calls with Skull Dog here, brought to you by Minnesota Sports Talk. I'm here with Dave, about to break down the Minnesota Vikings' huge domination effort against the Houston Texans last week, and then we're going to shadow a little bit the upcoming game against the Fudge Packers. So, Dave, how you doing tonight?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Just walking in Monday. You know, a little taller, a little stronger. People telling me how great my team is. I enjoy that so
Feels
much.
Good. Feels so damn good. Yep. And let's just start it off right here. What was your reaction when the Vikings were announced to be underdogs going into Green Bay next week? I wasn't surprised, but I was pissed.
Well, I don't know. I guess you have to look into it and see. Has Sam Darnold play there before? I don't know. It's our first road game. Honestly, the Packers do look good, but I would have expected us to be like slim favorites
against 0-2 teams. I mean, the
Right.
Packers have beat the Titans and the Colts. Like, what are we talking about? And the Vikings dominated 2 Super Bowl contending teams. I don't know, man. But
yeah, I'm just saying. I think we should at least been a slim favorite going on the road to Lambeau.
I agree.
Yeah, it didn't make sense. But hey, why not? I'll take underdog as long as we can get it. This will be the last week probably.
But let's start with the Texans breakdown, and we called it. Both of us said that this game had the potential to not be close, and that the Vikings would win by more than a touchdown. We didn't call it like that though. You know,
I put an apology on Twitter saying sorry I had little faith. I only said you were going to win by 10.
Yeah.
We won by 27. And I forget Pro Football Focus ranked Texans one spot ahead of us in San Francisco with a 1-2 record, even higher up. I was like, what the hell?
Well, power rankings are dumb no matter where your team is. I've seen the Vikings all the way up to 2.
3. Oh, 2.
I've seen him at 2 actually.
ESPN has 3.
I'm trying to remember who it was. Maybe it was Charles Davis or something like that, or Bucky Brooks or something like that.
Charles Davis did our game, right?
Yeah, so he's like, holy shit, these guys look good. But yeah, man, that defense. I mean, we saw them, do their thing week 1, week 2, but shit, week 3, it was on another level against the team with probably the best wide receiver core in the NFL right now against the Houston Texans, and really just neutralized all 3 of them. A damn good quarterback in his second year, CJ Stroud, a guy who doesn't throw interceptions, and we got 2 of them, one on the first play of the game, essentially. So damn impressive what this defense is doing, man. And we'll get into the Packers game, but I just have so much confidence in this defense that I don't give a shit if Jordan Love's coming back, man. I say bring it on. Like,
yeah, to me, it almost feels like it's not going to matter. Who they put out there. Congratulations to Malik Willis. He's doing all right.
That's awesome for him. A guy who was built up like he was going to be a first-round pick based on mobility and excitement, and then really cast aside from the get-go in Tennessee, gets traded right before the season to Green Bay, and doesn't have much time to learn the offense. And then him and LaFleur develop a great relationship, and LaFleur actually changes his offense to maximize Malik Willis's talents. And it was impressive, albeit against 2 0-2 teams. But kudos to Malik Willis there. That was impressive.
few shout outs, Benjamin, for being the first one in. Vocal Vike, man, that video you posted of Sam Darnold AI, it was hilarious. If you get a chance, go look at it, man. And then Chris Wallace, hey, after the show, I'm gonna text you, man. I'm gonna text you here to try to get you on Thursday. All right. Now, yeah. So last year, with the defense, it took us about game 4 to get kind of to where we started looking really good. And then that continued for a good 9 or so game stretch until we started getting injured. It was right out of the gate, and then it seems like we're getting better and better. And this if we play like this the rest of the year, we're in every game, and we still got a stretch of games here. We're playing really tough teams, and then we got a nice little stretch where it seems got some dogs that we could really boost a lead in this NFC. We got to get through the gauntlet a little bit here, but that defense could carry us. Sam Darnold doesn't have to win the game for us and play the efficient in 6 touchdowns. Of course, got to help getting down to the 1 yard line and, get short fields and stuff. We talked about that. Like I said, I thought the defense would give us some short fields. I don't obviously expect a pass interference penalty of Johnny Munt, but
Yeah.
That's great. Thanks for the gift, guys. But yeah, just keep on being so damn efficient. He is poised in the pocket. We'll talk more about that. We're really talking about the defense, but yeah, Flores is just making a name for himself here. This is serious named defense, all-time great type of shit. And who's our star, really? Who's the star? We got a few, I think, that'll emerge as like really, big-time candidates to be stars on this team. Like Grenard's just been fabulous. Van Ginkel's been fabulous. We got a lot of good guys on this team. And, we had the Williams Wall, the Purple People Eaters. I call them Zim's Reapers in 2017. Another named defense. This is another epic defense for the Vikings, I think.
Yeah, Chris, do me a favor. Pop on to YouTube, drop us a like, and subscribe, buddy. Thanks for popping in. But
he's been a listener. He's been on my show before.
Going back to Flores and the job that he's doing, because you're absolutely right. This defense is full of a lot of good players, but I wouldn't say it's full of a lot of great players. But the players are talking about how they're just playing unselfish defensive football, and they're doing their job. They're flying to the ball. And going back to what Chris said about last year when the defense really fell off, he kind of hopes that teams don't catch on. I think a lot of that had to do with injuries, and a lot of that had to do with a lack of depth and talent on the defensive line, which is completely overhauled this year. We are pressuring quarterbacks up the middle. Jihad Ward is playing his ass off over the center this year, causing some pressure up the middle. We're twisting a lot with our ends. That's getting home. Turner's had a sack on a twist, and then we just had a big sack by what's his name? The Miami guy that we signed. The guy has the pick 6 off the screen pass.
Van Ginkel.
Van Ginkel, thank you. So, they're really clever about how they're sending guys at the quarterback, and he's not blitzing a ton this year, but he's showing everybody at the line, and he's sending 4, but you don't know where those 4 are coming from.
It's crazy. You're watching the game. He's got 7 on the line at all times, and you're like, and when it happens, I'm like trying to figure out who went and who didn't, and sometimes there's a delay. Guy, it's just I haven't seen a defense this confusing to people. Yeah. And I don't know, as long as I've been watching, at least as a Viking, watching Viking games, it's something spectacular to watch. See, Stroud did not look comfortable. You had a camera on his face. He has no idea what's going on. And then last week, Purdy actually says it.
Yeah.
After the game. So it's like, he's masking everything. And to play off what you were saying, we didn't have the personnel last year to make what he wanted work. And we do now. And we have, again, and you also said it, we have depth, and we have, veteran corners that can make it happen. Gilmore is just solid.
So solid. And so Shaq is playing great too.
Say that again?
Shaq Griffin. They're both playing very solid football.
He kept him out of the end zone
Mm-hmm.
for what could have been a second touchdown, almost single-handedly.
You and I are on the same page where Murphy could be a little bit better.
Yeah,
he's the one guy, but still, I mean, he's playing above replacement level football, which is all you can ask for. In my
he's
opinion,
getting dragged into for extra yardage. He's not a big dude.
No, he's not.
Yeah,
he's dropped a couple easy picks already too. But
he hit the ground on that last one.
In terms of the defensive health, I think those three guys, the three corners, are so important to stay healthy this year, because when you throw a Caleb Evans in there, the next guy up, I think that's just going to give the offense a guy to pick on, and then it's all going to kind of fall apart. So I think that's important going forward, and allowing us to keep this going.
And hey, if you're watching, make sure you hit like and tell us. Just chime in, man. Tap in. Let's hear something. Tell me what you think. What's the next thing you want to talk about, man?
Let's talk about the offense a little bit against the Texans. And I think you used a great word. You used efficient earlier. And I think that's how I would describe the offense. It was efficient. There was times they gave up probably too many sacks, but that's fine. It didn't lead to turnovers. I thought they ran the ball well. Aaron Jones looked really good this game. I had a feeling he was going to be a little pissed off from the last game.
You were right
on the one. Yeah,
you were right.
I took the over on Aaron Jones. You took the under because I think that was an emotional hedge for you because you had him in fantasy. But yeah, he looked really good. And you know what? I think he's going to look good at Lambeau too. I think he is going to be fired up this weekend at Lambeau.
He's gunning for these guys. I mean, I know KOC is gonna just lean on him. And think about and we were wrong. Or you had said like 60-40 split. It didn't seem like that. Carries and touches definitely in Aaron Jones's favor. So he really leaned on him this game. I'm like in the fourth quarter, I'm like, get him out of there, man. I get him, but he got his 100 yards. He's happy and made him happy. But I don't want him injured. Just keep that dude healthy, man.
He's so good at catching the football out of the backfield. He's like another wide receiver. That's so refreshing to have. When's the last time we've had a running back that could do that? Chester Taylor.
So like Diggs could have been, but God, how many times does he fall on his butt when the ball gets thrown to him?
Dalvin Cook.
What did I say?
You said Diggs. You said Diggs.
Sorry, Dalvin Cook. Yeah. Dalvin Cook, like in the Buffalo game, the play after Kirk actually sneaks it. Prior to that, the play, Cook could have walked in the end zone, but he fell on his butt. So there's so many times where we've seen that. And there may have been reasons why we didn't throw to him a lot. He was okay. Obviously Adrian Peterson lacked in that category. You're right about Chester Taylor. And then someone says, is he the best all dual threat running back in the last 30 years? And I put out, well, you kind of forgot about Robert Smith. Robert Smith was, he was going to be paid. He was going to get super paid and then retired.
Yep.
But he was awesome for us. So they forget about him.
Let's talk about, I think the biggest success story for this offense so far is their red zone efficiency. Against the Niners, they did have the interception from Darnold in the red zone, and then of course the fumble on the one from Aaron Jones. But outside of those two turnovers, they've been lights out in putting that ball in the end zone. I have Will Reichert on my fantasy team, and it feels like he's not kicking very many field goals. You know what I mean? Because they're just scoring touchdowns, and
I was so happy then. I was so happy. I know we weren't running up the score. We were just like, here's an opportunity to give Will Reichert a nice 58-yard field goal, and he doinks it in.
Dude,
last year at this time,
that ball hit halfway up the
upright. Oh, God.
58.
Over half. Yeah, it was over halfway up. So, hey, shout out to Skull Mafia. What's up, man? Great point about getting the right spikes. Last year, keep in mind, I think Brian O'Neill hurt himself the year before, and then we used the long cleats. Kirk decided to wear the long cleats for the first time at Lambeau, tore his Achilles. So, yeah, I don't know. Sam Darnold, don't wear those damn cleats. Aaron Jones don't wear those damn cleats. I don't know. But yeah, we've had trouble. This is a little earlier in the season. I don't know what it's going to be like there, but it's just been slippery for us. Yeah, hopefully we don't come out of there with anybody injured like we had the last 2 years. It's a shame. But in the zone, what's up, man? Biggest thing is they're running the football. We just talked about that. It's, we're harping on that. It's a welcome change. We're a lot more creative. New guy steps up. It was Ty Chandler last week. Other 2 weeks it's been Aaron Jones. So yeah, it's been great. I was gonna say something, but go ahead. I forgot.
Go ahead with what, brother?
I forgot.
Oh.
I had a brain fart.
I hate that. Train of thought just goes away. So, I mean, what else is there to say about the Vikings just dominating the Texans? I mean, Dave, do you think there's a chance the Texans aren't as good as what we thought they were? Because they did barely beat a bad Colts team week 1 in Indianapolis. They kept the Bears around to a 1-score game at home against the Bears. And the Vikings just beat the piss out of them. So maybe there's a little bit of
running game right now.
Right.
They're talking about like it's the blocking. Someone made a point that their average yards to contact was like 1.3 yards. It was like mid to bottom half of the league. So yeah, I think that's probably. I think he would benefit from a good running game. You can't put. He's still a young quarterback. You need to still be able to do that, and that's what was so important for Sam Darnold. I had I probably would have had no faith coming in the season if I didn't think we'd have a better running game this year. But it's even better than I expected. I would say, and our blocking's been better than I expected, and obviously Sam Darnold could play action. Obviously worked out to be a 97-yard play against San Francisco. So it's shout out to KOC, man.
Mm-hmm.
I've had such two things has always bothered me about him is the running game and not switching to the right player, letting a guy just Alexander or Madison be out there the whole year. And we got Ty Chandler. Just various reasons, like make the change, man. Put the guy in, and he's doing it. He's using his personnel properly. I have like no complaints. I'm not looking at the field and going, that guy should be in there. Why isn't that guy in there? It's not year 3. I'm not even thinking about it now. So yeah, shout out to KOC. Big improvement.
I think there are things that Kevin O'Connell does that us fans just have no freaking idea how deep it goes into why he makes a play call, why he puts a player in motion, how he sets up multiple play calls. You get a little bit of that with some of the film breakdown from some of these guys. But I mean, I think that he is just an incredible coach. I absolutely think that he can take us to the promised land and win a Super Bowl. I don't think that he's necessarily bad with game management. Like fans are always going to bitch about game management with coaches here and there. I don't think he's as bad as like a Dan Campbell when it comes to those situations. And it just feels great to have him as our coach. It feels great to have your head coach be the offensive mind and not have to worry about finding a new offensive coordinator all the time. I think defensive coordinators are easier to replace if they leave. Knock on fake linoleum, whatever this is. Pray to God that Brian Flores doesn't leave us.
You're stealing my line. My press board.
Yeah, but I mean, hey, it's a possibility, dude. If Brian Flores finishes this defense as like a top 5 unit, that guy might be gone, despite the legal situation and suing the NFL, despite the way he treated Tua, because this dude can freaking coach.
It's just I just haven't seen anything like it, man.
What a great hire. Like after you completely whiffed on the first hire of Donashell.
Oh God!
To go out and get
that was
Brian
a desperation
Flores.
hire. I think we were like running out of people to get to come play for or coach for us.
And if I'm trying to remember, there's like a list of like 2 or 3 guys that I wanted. Brian Flores was one of them, and then there's I can't remember the guy.
I say it was the coach for Denver.
Yep, that's the guy I was thinking of. Like he was at the Panthers, I think, and then he was going out to Denver, and I was kind of bummed that they didn't get him. Whatever his name was. But then I was like all in on Flores. Like we have to get Flores because there's no other name out there that I am interested in. And I think we were in the running with one other team, if I could remember.
I was talking about the head coach of Denver. That guy was getting fired. He was a defensive coordinator. I forget his name, but it wasn't Donna Shell was his mentor or was his protege or something like that, and that's why we hired him. I forget the name of the coach. I'm sure someone in the chat will tell me.
But it'll be interesting because the NFL is a copycat league. I guarantee you there will be people stealing a lot of what they're seeing right now from the Vikings and using that going forward.
And what's Zimmer giving up right now? 29 points a game?
Yeah, that's a mess. The Cowboys are giving up the most rushing yards in the NFL right now, and that's a mess. And Micah Parsons came out and just said that they're playing selfish football. It's the exact opposite of the Vikings. There's a bunch of individuals out there chasing stats,
right? And I think
collective group.
And one of our guys said that. Who was it? Grenard.
Metellus has spoke about it. Grenard has spoke about it. How this is just an unselfish
team, man.
Do your job and flow to the ball.
Oh, they're all swarming to it, man. Remember, it was like in high school practices, like play to the whistle, and you had to go touch the helmet of the player, like all 11 of you, right? And they're just flowing to the ball. And I love it, man. If someone misses a play and misses a tackle, there's two guys back there flowing to it to make the tackle. And it doesn't flash, but freaking Harrison Smith has been in. He's been solid this year. He's still got life left in him.
He's the highest graded player, I think, for the Vikings by PFF so far this year. He's been phenomenal. He's my favorite.
He almost made that interception. I'm like, what? God, if he made that, I would have went freaking nuts, man.
Yeah. That's his thing.
Nuts.
He's so good at that. I love Harrison Smith.
And hey, we're knocking balls down. Harrison did it that play. I know. I don't know I think it was Harrison Phillips. Did it. I think early in the game too. And we always seem to be in the, jumping up. And a guy who was good at that was 96.
Brian Robinson.
Brian Robinson was fantastic at that.
Yeah, he was. Brian Robinson, hell of an underrated player. That guy was good.
Solid player. And he just had a knack for it.
Before we move on and talk about preview for the Packers game, I want to talk a little bit about something that's been frustrating the hell out of me, and that's Stephen A. Smith. Have you seen the Stephen A. Smith stuff that's going on?
No. Well, I've seen some of it, but not since the Texans game.
So Stephen A. Well, first of all, Dan Orlovsky has been a big Kevin O'Connell fan. He's been a big Sam Darnold fan in terms of what he felt like Sam Darnold could do under KOC. And then week 1, week 2 happened. And Dan Orlovsky is, we're giving him his flowers. Hey, Dan, you called this. Great job. And Dan's talking on the show on First Take. Dan-O, Too Evil Hope says. Dan's talking to Stephen A. Smith on First Take. And Stephen A. is like, fuck that. This is Sam Darnold we're talking about. He's going to become a pumpkin. We have 6 years of history that tells us Sam Darnold sucks, And then Chris Carter goes on his show today.
Okay, I didn't see it yet. I know it was there, but I was at work, so I didn't see it.
So Chris Carter basically leads the show off. He says, Stephen A., how the hell are you going to start out your show not talking about the purple? And Stephen A. gets all defensive. And he's like, what do you mean? This is Sam Darnold. We have 6 years of history telling us.
He's still saying it 3 games in?
He's still saying it. And then Chris Carter essentially says, well, KOC's here. He's never had KOC. I think you got to give him a little credit, essentially. And then the clip ended from what I've seen with Stephen A. saying, okay, I'll give him a little credit. Like, he's not going to back off because he's waiting for that game for Sam to blow up. And he's going to say, ha, I told you. This guy sucks. But Chris was like, dude, I've watched you, and I know that you believe in quarterbacks, changing their stars because I've watched you give Baker flowers. I've watched you give Geno flowers. Why is Sam Darnold different? And he's just fighting it. Stephen A. doesn't want to give him his flowers. And I don't get it, man, because you got Jordan Addison coming back. You got TJ Hawkinson coming back. These were both points that Chris made, by the way. And it's like, the line is damn good. Why do we expect this guy to just turn into a piece of shit. I don't understand.
So, what's funny here is, obviously Andy Dalton just won with Carolina, right? Like, look good doing it. And I posted out, hey, is Andy Dalton ever had weapons like this? Because that was the thing about Sam Darnold. He's never had weapons like this. So, I think it's always a right fit and everything. And and obviously he's been around the league a lot. And so I was just kidding about that. But I'm like, okay, the Jets look good on Thursday night. Carolina look good on Sunday. Sam Darnold look good. All three teams look good. So it's kind of weird that it all kind of happened in the same week.
It's just frustrating because they're just doing it for rage bait at this time. I feel like that's the only thing that Stephen A is doing. He's a huge troll. There's nothing fluky about how the Vikings won these first 3 games. There's nothing fluky about how Sam Darnold's playing right now. And with that, let's transition into the Packers game. And I'm just going to start by saying that I'm picking up right where I left off when we talk about the Texans. I think that this Vikings team can and should win by 10-plus points in Lambeau. I think the defense is that good. I don't care if it's Malik Willis or Jordan Love playing quarterback. I think that the defense is going to make them look bad, especially Jordan Love. If they move him off his spot, he's not going to be very mobile coming off that knee, and they're going to find ways to hit him. Now, the biggest thing with the Packers is, and I saw this graph earlier today, their yards per play leads the NFL. So they have been successful in hitting the big play for 3 weeks now. They had a long one to Jaden Reed. They might have even had a couple long ones to Jaden Reed against the Eagles week 1. They hit a long screen pass to the running back for like 50 yards, touchdown against Tennessee. So that's where this Flores defense is going to have to make sure that they stress them and they don't give up the long one, but we haven't seen it yet from this defense, and I don't think that the Packers have played a defense like this. Again, they're coming off 2 teams who are 0-2. Now, it was impressive they won with Malik Willis, but, I mean, they won by 1 score at Lambeau against the Colts, against Anthony Richardson, who was god-awful. So I expect the same old that we've seen from the Vikings. I think that they're going to go in there and punch the Packers in the damn mouth. What do you think?
I agree with that, and I think they might even be having to switch quarterbacks mid-game because he's not ready to come back.
I could definitely see that. I could see Jordan Love start that game and then maybe not come out after halftime because of knee swelling. He's getting hit a couple times, like Kirk Cousins, or like Sam Bradford in that Chicago game. He couldn't move in the pocket. It was just a detriment to the offense, and then they went out with –
he looked like an 80-year-old man out there.
Yeah, and they went out with Case Keenum. We won the game.
Yeah, and another shout-out to Zimmer, just wanting to bench Keenum all year, even talking about putting Bridgewater in during the end of the season. It's like, come on, man. Casey's doing good, man. Keep him out there. And that's the thing. I didn't want JJ McCarthy hurt, right? I wanted him to play. I in fact wanted him to start this year. And shit, yeah, welcome surprised by Sam. I would say, and you agree, I'm sure, and you've said it, that yeah, he wouldn't lose his job because he's playing that well. I mean, this is much better. This is much better than I expected. I thought he'd be okay. Thought he'd be okay and methodical, and he wouldn't be risky at all. But he's full complement of the offense right now, and that's impressive.
Was the 100th percentile of what we can get from Sam Darnold. The fact that people are mentioning possible MVP Sam Darnold just tells you how damn good the guy is playing. He's leading the NFL right now in touchdowns, unless Josh Allen has taken over with his efforts against Jacksonville. But going into Monday night, he was leading the NFL in touchdown passes.
He's never had 20.
It's crazy. He's almost halfway there. So through 3 games, it's funny because yes, that JJ injury sucks, but if knowing what we know now, they're 3-0. They have a couple tough games coming up. Winning at Lambeau is not easy. Then you got to go on the road as a home team to play in London against the Jets. Good defense there. You get a bye week. You come back against the Lions. Is that at home against the Lions or away against the Lions? I don't remember. But anyways, then your schedule really lightens up. So even if they, God forbid, lose the next 3 games at Lions. Okay, so even if they, God forbid, lose the next 3 games, they're 500. Okay, 3-3, going into a stretch where you play teams like Jacksonville, Tennessee, the Bears, Indianapolis, and the Rams.
Yeah, like so we play the Rams, which could be tough, right? Indy, Jacksonville, Tennessee, Chicago, Arizona, Atlanta, Chicago.
Yeah,
and then we finished the season Seattle, Green Bay, Detroit.
Here's a wild thing, guys. If the Vikings play 500 football from now until the end of the season, they have 10 wins, and they probably make the playoffs. Okay? That's wild. So it's like, knowing that, were we ever really going to see J.J. McCarthy this year, barring injury to Sam Darnold? Probably not. You know what I mean? Probably not. So I don't know how much progression he really lost. You know what I mean?
And, the funny thing is, like, I said, like, hey, losing J.J. McCarthy didn't cost us wins. It didn't cost us wins.
No.
If he was healthy, it may have cost us wins. It's like, because there had been, like, that quarterback controversy, and J.J. McCarthy's getting interviewed and not Sam Darnold, and Sam Darnold's our starter. It's like, that could have been the situation. This might have been a perfect. Not that I want it. There's no way in hell I wanted J.J. McCarthy hurt. I wanted him to start the season.
I will say, though, that I have the utmost confidence that our rookie J.J. McCarthy would have looked like the best rookie in the NFL if he was playing. Because I think Kevin O'Connell would have done that for him. You know what I mean?
It would be him and Daniels. Daniels is he's doing some good things.
Daniels had I agree with you. Daniels looked great last night. But week 2, I thought he looked poor. But last night was impressive from Daniels. And it's kind of fun because the corner was kind of talking shit on him leading up to the game about how they run a nice college offense for him, and you know what I mean? Yeah. And then the head coach, Zach Taylor, for the Bengals after the game was like, yeah, our corner probably shouldn't have been talking shit. I mean, we're talking about a team who hasn't punted in 2 weeks. By the way, that's the first time that's happened, I think, is that the first time an NFL team has not punted in 2 weeks and led by a rookie. That's pretty impressive for Jaden Daniels.
Yeah. And I mean, look at the division leaders in the NFC, right? It's Commanders, it's us, it's Seattle.
Yeah.
And who's the South? Oh, Saints? Yeah. Just as it was planned, right?
Yeah. Let's go back to talking about the Vikings-Packers matchup. And in my mind, 2 big keys to this game. All right. Number 1, it's the same key for every game. Win the turnover battle. Kevin O'Connell's 20-0 when you win the turnover battle or when you tie the turnover battle. Okay. This is a Packers secondary that can intercept the football. They're pretty damn good at it. Xavier McKinney has 3 interceptions through 3 games. Jair Alexander just had a pick 6 against Will Mayonnaise-Levis last week. So that's going to be important. Now, I have confidence, though, that Kevin O'Connell's not going to throw Sam Darnold out there in an empty set like Will Levis and be like, okay, throw a hitch route. Hope the corner's not sitting on it. You know what I mean? Kevin O'Connell, he's going to put Jordan Addison, Justin Jefferson in the backfield, get them singled up against Jair Alexander, and then make Jair Alexander their son. That's what he does. That's what Kevin O'Connell does. He figures out a way to make corners like Jair Alexander look stupid.
We got Twitter royalty here. I got to say hi to Dustin.
Hey, Dustin, what's up, bro? Good to have you.
Dustin, man. Those videos you did at the San Fran game were just awesome. Congratulations. I get them on like NFL Network and shit.
Yes.
It's awesome. Hey, make sure you switch to YouTube and and subscribe to the channel if you're on Twitter. You too, Heath, Health Book 2004. And yeah, we shouldn't get out in front of our skis, but Brian Flores told me I could. So I'm out in front. I'm out in front of my skis. I'm going 100 miles an hour. I have totally faith that we can keep that defense up, man, and that's going to carry us a long ways.
Yeah, and that takes me to my second most important point here. By the way, Dustin, since we have you here, let's hook up in the DMs. I want to get you on as our guest for this coming weekend. I want to do a little preview of the Packers game if you're down to join us. But number 2, big battle here. You look at the Packers rushing offense. They are number 1 in the NFL with 204 yards per game rushing. Now, that's pretty much all they did against the Colts. They just ran the ball all day. But when you look at the Vikings defense, we are currently 2nd in the NFL in rushing defense. We allow 71 yards per game with rushing defense. So whereas the Packers, again, have 204 yards. So that's going to be where this game is mostly won and lost when we are on the defensive side of the football. Because if we can get the Packers, like we did the Texans, into 3rd and long, it's game over. They're not going to be able to win against us. I don't care if they're home. We're going to show them some crazy shit, and we're going to hit the quarterback, and we're going to get that football. So biggest thing is going to be 1st and 2nd down. Can we stop the run? And then the third point that I think that we need to focus on is I'm a little worried about how their offense can stretch our defense horizontally, which we haven't really seen through 3 weeks. They like to do a lot of stuff, a lot of motion, a lot of fly motions, and stretch you horizontally. Now, if we have everybody at the line of scrimmage, that can kind of stress this defense. So that's another thing I'm looking for.
Yeah, one of the things I noticed is that Flores' defense, he disguises going into 2 deep zone. And they have no idea if he's going to go into man or 2 deep zone, and he's really fooling teams. And by the time they figure it out, we're at the quarterback, it seems, and that's awesome that we're able to do that. What do we got here? Oh yeah, this is another thing. Packers have committed 26 penalties for 196 yards over first 3 games. Flores defense can make those penalties go up. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, they're at home, so maybe we won't see the same false start penalties that we saw against the Texans because they're going to be able to hear the quarterback.
Well, you got to think that Jair Alexander is just going to hold like a motherfucker the whole game.
Oh, yeah. They're going to get a lot of penalties on defense for sure. But the question is, hopefully they call them because they hold a shit ton, and they just got to call it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. The Packers used to get all the calls, and now it's Kansas City. But Kansas City, man, the same thing happened. Kirk Cousins last year when we were playing Kansas City, and we had that. They threw the flag for pass interference and pulled it. Well, God, that play is 6 yards, 4th down in the end zone. That guy tackled him before the ball got there. It's fucking 2 years in a row. He had to face that shit. It's like deja vu all over again. Yeah, the refs are totally on Kansas City, man. That's awful. That's awful.
Hey, here's a pretty solid thing that we have going for us. That Packers kicker is dog shit. He's real bad.
Oh, that's good.
He missed a kick I think he's missed a kick every game that he's played so far. He missed a kick last week, and unfortunately the Titans had like an offsides or something, so it didn't count. So you don't see that in the stats of the game. But he's not a good kicker. So make him kick the football. They'll miss.
Wasn't Greg Joseph supposed to be their kicker, and he got beat out?
Yeah. They cut him.
Bring Greg back.
Yeah, I think Greg's still a free agent. Dustin says only thing I'm worried about is the matchup between our corners and their wide receivers. They're young, shifty versus old and not shifty. Yeah, they're young and they're fast. Jaden Reed, I think, is the stud of the group, but Christian Watson can definitely beat you over top. We've seen that back in 2022, first play of the season, I think it was, where Patrick Peterson got burned over top and Christian Watson dropped it. And that's the
last time we had a blowout until this season, I think.
Yeah. But I agree with you. Even guys like Wicks and Dobbs, they're good players. So I agree that that's going to be something to watch for. But what I will say is that I would put up the Texans wide receivers up against anybody in the league, and the Vikings did a phenomenal job at shutting them down. Now, to Dustin's point, I think that the Packers trio is faster than the Texans wide receivers. I don't know if they're better, but they're faster. So we'll see how they hold up against the speed at Lambeau. But that's going to be something to watch for sure.
I didn't see that. I knew they had a kicker, but I didn't know. And they I think they missed a kick or something like that, but they won the game. So he's their lucky charm. So that's good. Yeah, they didn't have a kicker in that second game, and they're the first team to lose to a team that kicks 7 field goals, and they had to go for 2 each game. It's crazy. And then they pick up Greg Joseph. I didn't know that. I guess my bad. I didn't. I'm not following him. I'm not following him anymore. So I don't know. I don't know what I feel. The hype for the Vikings is their kryptonite. I don't know. I think it's a pretty grounded team. I feel like it's pretty grounded.
I'm not worried about that.
Sam Darnold's cool and collective. Not at all what I expected. He doesn't seem like a deer in headlights like I felt he was.
Yeah.
So, I kind of fell into the what everybody else said about him. And one of these days I'll do a I'm sorry, not sorry apology video, because I did, however, early on, after kind of going, why did we get this guy? Saying, hey, he's got physical talent. I get it. KOC's going to squeeze it all out of him. All we got to do is play defense. Shit, he's been better than I expected. So,
yeah.
But yeah, what's impressive, here's something in the game that impressed me a lot. He threw the ball away. And I didn't think that he was going to be like that. And he did it in the third game. Now, he had the bonehead play again where, Aaron Jones is blocking a guy. He's going down. He goes and tries to pitch him the ball. Then he did it a little later. We did that little, that little lateral move where we got 5 yards. That's great. And then, he still had his arm got hit. He threw it behind the line of scrimmage. It got ruled a fumble. I don't know if there was a better decision to be made there, a pump fake, just eat the ball kind of thing. But later in the game, he stopped having any kind of bonehead plays. And there was a couple of times where the play wasn't there. He got rid of it, threw it into the ground. And there was one where they're going to call intentional grounding, but he wasn't under duress, which kind of wondered why didn't he just take off or something? But he just threw the ball away, and they didn't call a penalty because he wasn't under duress.
I think that was a design screen, that one.
What's that?
I think that was a design screen. Was that a super long third and forever? We were kind of close to our own end zone.
We were close to our own end zone, but I just remember him throwing it nowhere near anybody.
Yeah, that was a screen that was just dead on arrival, and he said, "Okay, fuck that. It's not going to work."
Well, there was nobody there though. They were all out. There was nobody. Nobody.
I think there was. I think there was somebody by the right guard, right tackle.
There was two. There was two plays. This one he threw about 10 or 15 yards downfield to nobody. Is the one I'm thinking of where they were going to call a penalty on him for intentional grounding.
Yeah, and I remember that, and they said he was not under duress.
Yeah, he was, and he throwing it to nobody. There wasn't a screen on that one, but there was another one. I know what you're saying. He did spike it, and that's what I'm talking about. When he made good decisions like that, and that's what impressed me is that I feel like he's learning. And that was my big stink about Kirk early on in his career is like he tried to force it. He didn't throw the ball away. Tom Brady was very good about getting rid of the ball. Yeah. And just not losing yardage,
live to fight another
day. And that was my biggest pet peeve about Kirk early in his career. But yeah, and I see that Sam Darnold, I saw that at the second half of the game. So big kudos for him.
Guys in the comments, drop some ideas. What do you guys want to talk about? Yeah, T-Cubes, we kind of talked earlier about how I thought it was disrespectful to have the Vikings as an underdog. We're talking about a team that comes off 2 very impressive wins against contending football teams versus the Packers, who lost week 1 against a good Eagles team and then beat 2 0-2 teams to get to 2-1. And the Packers are somehow favorites at home. I just think that's backwards to me. But I like that the Vikings are underdogs on the other hand, because I think that it legit does piss them off.
You got to think that line's going to change, right? Don't you?
I think so too. I think the bettors are going to put money on the Vikings and bet that to a pick'em type game for sure.
At least, I think.
That's one where I bet a lot of money comes in on the Vikings.
You would think. And we've done good at Lambeau. Of course, we have a different quarterback, but we've done good at Lambeau the last few years and stuff. So
yeah, I just think that Kevin O'Connell has outclassed their defensive coordinator in recent history. Now they got a new defensive coordinator, so we'll see. But I still think that Kevin O'Connell is going to do his thing. And hey, it's going to be nice to have Jordan Addison back.
I'll miss Naylor, man. Extend Naylor.
They might.
Jordan, sorry.
They might. Dylan Dotson says, could Naylor's production make Addison available to trade this offseason? I'm going to go ahead and say hell no. I think Jordan Addison is very valuable to this team. as a first-round pick on a rookie contract. He gives you a ton of production for not making much money. I know that he's going to have a suspension coming his way, likely in the form of 3 games, either later this year, but most likely probably the beginning of next year. I think that Jordan Addison doesn't get the credit from most fans for how damn good he is at football.
One of the things I said about Jordan Addison is it's not above, the game's not above him. He is in the moment. He's ice cold out there. He plays with such confidence. Now, I don't trade him because, receivers get hurt and we need them and we need depth. So the more talent we have on the team, the better. Yeah, I don't trade Addison. I could let him play out his contract and keep a cheaper Naylor. That is something that I could consider. That hasn't caused any grief to the Vikings. I could do that. But
Naylor was drafted before Addison, so you'd have to extend him.
Well, yeah, I'm saying extend him. Okay. It'd be cheaper though. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like Addison, he might be a big contract. He might be a $20-some million guy if he gets his head straight and stays healthy and puts out the production, especially next year. He could have a huge payday that we can't afford. The things we used to complain about, like with Thielen and everything. Now we got, Naylor could be a cheaper, sign him early type, or sign him now and extend him before he blows up. And look at him now, man. It's just, you could have had a second touchdown if it wasn't for Aaron Jones hip checking a guy.
Yeah. It's way down the future, so you almost don't want to spend too much time on it, but I could see the Vikings moving on from Jordan Addison and not extending him just because of how much money wide receivers make.
It's the money. It's not that they don't like him.
No, it's just that wide receiver 2s in this league make a ton of freaking money. And there's teams out there who will gladly pay for that. So it might be not like a roster construction thing that they're going to want to do. Like, I'm sure they're going to pick up his 5th-year option, of course. But then after that, he might hit free agency. And to your point, they might sign Naylor, because what is Naylor's market going to be as a wide receiver 3 type? I mean, would he make – he'd probably make more than whatever KJ Osborne just demanded. But, I mean, I do think that, it's been nice to have the production that Naylor has had, but a lot of his production has been mostly schemed up to this point in terms of the touchdowns that he's had. I mean, just a beautiful fake screen in the Giants game to get him the touchdown. He leaked out on a play action pass against the Niners through the line, was pretty much wide open for that touchdown. And then this latest week against the Texans, that was a great catch that he had, streaking on the back of the end zone just on a crossing route. And Sam Darnold just put it on him, and great catch for a touchdown there. So, yeah, I mean, it's been nice that Naylor's been the guy that we know that he could be, that we know the guy has talent. It's just, can he stay healthy? And so far he has. Yeah,
and he's a little bit taller, and I'd say he's probably faster than, Jordan Addison.
He's faster, but Jordan Addison's been a football player.
Short area quickness and probably
and
quicker route runner, stuff like that.
What are the 2 main things that you want your receiver to do? You want him to get open. You want him to catch the football. Jordan Addison can do both of those things probably better than Jalen Naylor can.
Yeah, Naylor's got I would say above average hands at this point. I could feel safe to say that, and he's probably an average or better route runner, and probably top 20%. Top, I don't know how elite his speed is. He didn't run the best 40 in the world, but that's what he's known for, and he's a track star. So. I don't know. I think he was the fastest or I forget what year it was, what age it was, but he was like the fastest 9-year-old in the country or something like that.
Oh, wow. Dylan Dotson says in the comments, does Reisner replace Ingram after the bye? Now, it's a good question. How much do the Vikings value the running game versus the passing game?
Compared to the passing game, yeah.
Because Ingram is killing them. He's giving up pressures. Every single week he's giving up pressures. And it's interesting. There's this pass blocking efficiency chart from ESPN that I've seen floating on Twitter, and the Vikings are like 28th or something. They're very bad. Now it'll show you like their tackle score, the center score, and the guard score.
I think TPP put us at 26. From PFF.
Today. And it's like they just look better than that from the eye test. They look so much better. I just don't understand that. And Peter Bukowski, fuck that guy. But anyways, Peter Bukowski tweeted the chart today if you want to go look at it. And he was basically saying that the Vikings have played 3 teams that are not great at protecting so far, and the Packers are like near the top in that chart in protection. So he's thinking that our defense isn't going to look, as great. And he's probably right. We're probably not going to get 5 sacks like we have in the first 3 weeks. But that's the chart I was referring to, and the Vikings were way low on that chart. And I was just looking at that, and I was like, the eye test is not matching up to that at all. And I think it's because our tackles look so damn good, so you're not seeing the defensive ends get sacks on the quarterback. But the interior must be just allowing a ton of pressure.
Guys, better than I expected is Grenard. They
tried to block him with tight ends.
He just mowed that guy over, man. It was hilarious.
2 sacks against tight ends.
I was like, that was violent. What the hell? What did he do to you, Grenard? I'm like, Jesus, he just flattened him. It was fabulous. It was awesome.
But going back to the Reisner thing, would you start Reisner over Ingram? I say yes. I think you do. I think that it helps you out in the passing game tremendously. I think that it cuts down probably 4 or 5 pressures a game, which is a big deal. In the running game, you're going to lose a little bit, but the left side of your offensive line is still dominant. Okay. So how much do you really lose in the running game? I don't know. That's just my 2 cents. What do you think?
Helping out. I think it would be more important to help out.
The passing
it would be more helping out Sam Darnold. I was going Sam Bradford here. Darnold. Helping out Sam Darnold is, I think, more important. I think Aaron Jones can make his own. Make his own way sometimes. But yeah, I would go with the pass protection over the running, the run blocking that Ingram could put out there. It's just, God, when he misses, man. And people get hurt. And although I think he's been picking up the stunts better than from the first game, because there was that one play, and then in the preseason he damn near got our backup destroyed. We can't let that happen. It's going to come at the worst freaking time. I don't want Sam Darnold seeing ghosts at any point in this year. I would think if he's healthy, he's up to speed, and I would fully be on board with it. I wouldn't question it.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind watching them spend some money at the guard position and just get that right guard figured out going forward this offseason.
And I thought, hey, why not make a trade? But I don't think they're going to do that because they got Reisner. But
we don't have a ton of draft capital to trade.
Conditionals. There's conditionals and for future 26 picks. There's you can trade a player. There's things you could do, but I don't want to trade any. We only got 3 picks, I think, next year, right? Depending on.
Yeah, that's
correct.
I think
it's just 3 right now. At least we got our first rounder. But yeah, that was the point I was making a while back about us being 20 or the 5th oldest team in the league. Is we're the 5th oldest team and we only have 3 picks next year. And we just got rid of a bunch of draft picks that we drafted 2 years ago. It's like we're not getting younger, we're getting older. But I have total faith Kwesi would make right moves, and I'm no problem bringing in vets and younger type vets, and even older ones like Gilmore that still got it. It's a good mix, and if we keep doing that, I can see us being consistent. But the Patriot way was always trade away of vets, let them go, draft good. Draft players, get 10 draft picks, go spaghetti against the wall and fill your team that way, which Spielman kind of did.
Yeah. Well, let's end the show with this last thought.
Let's do this really quick because we got to show.
Our pick 6.
Pick 6. We both set over on Will Reichard on 2 field goals.
Did we hit?
Yeah, did we? Yeah, I got over. You got over.
Yeah, I don't remember
two?
how many he made.
He kicked 2, didn't he?
He got the 58. I remember that one.
I thought he had 2.
He
Maybe I'm
doinked it
wrong.
in. Don't remember.
What's our what do we?
I'll
win
pull
by
it up. I'll pull it up real quick.
Yeah, we did. Got 34, right? That's 2 field goals. It's 2 field goals. 28 plus 6 is 34. We didn't miss an extra point.
Yeah, you're right. He got a 35-yarder.
Yeah,
he had 2.
I remember it being okay. I got the over because he kicked the 58-yarder. Doink.
Yep. You're right.
Okay,
so we got that.
We barely got the over on this one.
Got it in the first half.
We got in the first half, and then he didn't get a catch the second half, and he dropped one.
Yep, 2 for 2.
Sam kind of threw it behind him a little bit. He needed to lead him, and then the second time he hit his hands, it was just a bad pass by Sam.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, Jets was taking responsibility over on the sideline. Yeah, I liked how they're feeding off each other. You got Aaron Jones 48.5. I really missed this one, and I pissed him off.
Yep.
I may pick the under again, just to piss him off again.
Oh no, he's going over, baby.
Yeah. And so I got this one wrong. We got the first 2 right. And this is where it goes south for you. I picked the under, and you picked the over.
Well, I thought it was going to be a closer game and that Darnold would have to throw the football a little bit more. But I'll gladly be wrong because it means that we kicked their ass.
True. And we had TDs, and obviously we went way over on that one. I'm picking at least 2 a game. If they're going 1.5, I'm going –
absolutely.
I'll pick above it.
I'll keep hitting 2.
Yeah, and then CJ Stroud didn't get anywhere close to this, and that was a high number too. And you took the over, I took the under.
Yeah, I mean the Vikings just had him flustered to the point where he didn't finish the game. They had his ass sitting down on the bench crying in the fourth quarter. I had a tweet that I was proud of. It showed
here's the result so far. It's still close, 5-7 and 7-5, 7-5 for pick 6.
Yeah, I had a better week this week. I think I only got 1 right last week, but I had a tweet where I said, 1 week CJ Stroud is playing Caleb Williams. The next week he looks like Caleb Williams, crying on the sidelines.
Someone posted the 2 pictures of him, and I reposted and I said, "Little bro."
Yeah,
because he little broed him last week, and he got little broed this week by Sam Darnold. Talk about just getting it flipped on you. And I like CJ Stroud; he seems like a good kid.
Yeah,
and I'll root for him as long as when he's not playing us. So.
Yeah, I agree. So here's my mindset going into the Packers game this weekend: is I'm not stressed out because I think the Vikings are going to beat that ass. Okay, I'm probably overconfident going into this week, but B, if I'm wrong and we lose this game, we're still 3-1 and we are just fine. And we're sitting in a good spot. And a lot of us weren't really expecting to win in Lambeau this year anyways. So I'm just kind of chill going into this weekend. I'm not stressing at all. And I'm just hoping that B-Flow can do his thing and make the Packers offense look like ass a little bit. How do you feel going into this game?
I just feel like Jordan Love is going to be just like CJ Stroud, just going to be confused the whole game. He has showed flashes of accuracy issues in the past. The game we blew him out on, the game we beat him last year in Lambeau. I don't feel like it's as we're going in there, and I think we travel well to Lambeau. We'll have fans there. I just think Aaron Jones is going to he had a fire lit underneath him. Just Jefferson is just wanting to break out. But yeah, we're still going to lean on this defense, and I think it's going to be devastating for him. Absolutely devastating for him. They don't know what's going to hit them with this defense coming at them. They have no clue.
Jordan Love's much more loose with the football than CJ Stroud. He will put some 50-50 balls up there, and it's going to be up to our safeties, to our corners to go get those. You know what I mean? Because CJ he's real careful with that football. He's not going to put it in a dangerous spot until he absolutely had to when they were down 30-7 or whatever. So that worries me a little bit. It's just that Jordan Love has the balls to throw him up there. And it's going to be up to the defense to go get it.
Yeah, And then, Aaron Jones is going to at least have one Lambeau leap. If we're in the goal line, we're running it because we're going to try to get Aaron Jones a touchdown. Aaron Jones is going to have a touchdown in this game. Guaranteed. Book it. Over, under. Over.
Book it. All right, boys. Thank you for joining us. And ladies, thank you for joining us tonight. It's a good show. And we'll be back next week. I think we're going to keep doing these live shows on Tuesday nights going forward. And we'll have a pregame video for you Sunday mornings. So check those out as well. All right, Dave. Football.
All right, Skol Vikes.
Skol Vikes.